Hello and thank you for joining me for this underwater dive inspection. My name is Martin the Diver and the date is August 15th. Let's go ahead and proceed. We're starting the back end of the boat where we're looking at an engine mount. There were hard foulings on the engine mounts. We got that taken care of. It's important to have hard foiling like shells and different sort of crustaceans removed so they don't grow large, because if they grow large enough, the calcified remains of those foulings can be pretty detrimental to the components. So I was able to remove any that I found, and she looks really good. Here's the port side underwater light, and there is a little bit of rusting on the bottom, so that's something to keep in mind. Port side, back part of the boat, we've got a light, and she looks like she might be still in operating condition, but here you've got some rust on the perimeter. Here's the port side trim component. She, as you can see here with the flaking on the face, is perfectly fine operating condition, but can definitely use some TLC. I found a bunch of hard foulings on the bottom. I got them removed. It's important to use a smooth cloth. What we use is a 3M metal polish scrubber to make sure that surface is smooth and there aren't a lot of nodes like grooves and crannies for hard growth to develop. So that's something we did on the bottom of this trim component to make sure that it doesn't foul up as fast. And she looks pretty good after service, doing just fine, not a major note. Here's that item that I was talking about, right here with that rusty perimeter. You might want to change this out when this boat gets hauled out. She is certainly due for new bottom paint, so that's something to also touch up on when she does get hauled out in preparation for the next season. Here you see the parts of the zinc components for the right side engine mount. I'm a big fan of these. And here's the starboard underwater light. As you can see, no rusting around any part of this, so she is definitely in good shape. Here's the right side trim tab component, looking good and unobstructed and clear. She certainly does need a new coat of bottom paint. As you can see here, the first rear component of the hull, I think this boat is comprised of three. This is where the first part ends and the second part begins. You can see how there's this portion of bottom paint that's heavily oxidized and really not in good shape. It's not the worst, and it likely happens due to cavitation right here during operation, but that's certainly something that collects a lot more fouling than the rest of the boat throughout the season. Over here we find a transducer, an underwater transducer. It's in good shape. A few things that you want to look for with underwater transducer components is the indication of bonding. So here there's good bonding because there is no discoloration between the interface of the component and the hull. And then secondly, you just want to make sure there aren't any seal breaks, which we did check for. She looks great. Got her polished up, and she should be in great working order. As we move forward on the ship, we're just going to take a look at a few more parts, such as this piece of bottom paint, indicative of the overall condition of the bottom. Really not that bad, but definitely can use a new coat for the next season. Here we have the bow thruster, where we can see that all the pedals of the propeller on the left side of the boat, otherwise known as the port side. The face of the propeller is shielded with a zinc anode right here, and there's plenty of meat on that anode, which is a good sign that there is no corrosion present. There was a lot of fouling that got accumulated here in the through-hole basin compartment, and we were able to clear that up in its next service. We'll continue on over to the starboard side, where we're going to encounter some through holes after we go and check out the right side of the bow thruster. As you can see, there's a lot of oxidative stress on the bottom paint, just lends itself to more growth to accumulate here. It's really not that big of an issue, so long as that growth is soft and not hard. No clams, no shells, and I was able to clear that up and just looking fine. That zinc component was also brushed. It's important to brush the zinc anodes in order to maintain proper function. Alright, we'll continue on over to the starboard side through hull. We've got 3 through hulls here. One has a faceplate on it, it's this one. And this faceplate is slightly damaged. It happens through standard operation and use, so boat, you hit a wooden log, it will do something to this extent, but just for your information, starboard through hull faceplate does have a bend in it. It's unobstructed, looks good, no bonding issues, so other than that bend, it's in good shape. Fingers are clear, and it looks like it's in good shape. And we'll continue on to the through hulls without a faceplate for the visual inspection. Here is the first one. It's unobstructed. Prior to cleaning, it didn't indeed have some accumulated biofouling in here, and nothing that was hard, so that's good news. Thank you for joining me on this brief underwater inspection. This Nimbus is a wonderful vessel. Top recommendations are definitely get bottom paint for next season, and that's not really a super urgent matter. Otherwise, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. My name is Martin the Diver. My phone number is 949-836-7195. You can also visit our website at www.martindivingservice.com.